This is Trenchtown. It's an inner city community in Kingston, Jamaica, and it's a community where life is not simple. It's a community where over 86% of the children are born outside of marriage, where there's a very high unemployment rate, somewhere around 64%, and where there is actually a very high murder rate as well, one of the top 5 in the world per capita. As you probably guessed, I didn't grow up here. I actually grew up, there's a long story behind that. I grew up in the UK, I ran away from British boarding school when I was 17 and I came here. When I first got here, one of the biggest things that struck me was the difference between the opportunities that my life gave me growing up and the limitations surrounding so many of the young people growing up in a community like this one. So I started wondering how I could make a difference. 15 years ago, I managed to get my 2 sisters to ride a bicycle with me from Florida to Los Angeles. It took us 2 months to get right across the States. And that was with a dream of coming here to make a difference. And I've been living here ever since. Back in those early days, I could not have imagined how complex the web of challenges surrounding a community like this one was going to be. And there's been many times when I've started to wonder if it's even going to be possible to make a meaningful difference. Because it's a community where there's a lot of challenges, it's led to a few colourful experiences for me over the years. I've been held up at gunpoint twice, I've been held up at knife point twice, I've been robbed a couple of times. I've been within 100 yards of 5 different murders. What's a lot worse than that though, is that every single one of the children we work with has been through all of those experiences and quite often worse. And they're living in a culture where they're just in a cycle that is very hard to break out of. Over the years, Fusion Jamaica is what's grown out of that dream to make a difference here. And because the challenges are not simple and because life isn't simple, the response has to be something that doesn't just give charity to kids who are in an impoverished cycle, but it's a response that actually tries to change the cycle itself. So how do we do that? Well, there's a number of ways. One of them, we run a bunch of after-school clubs, mango tree clubs they're called, and their motto is belong, grow and serve. Basically, they're a small community where kids can find a place of belonging, where they can be encouraged to grow through a biblically based character development curriculum, and where they can also then be encouraged to serve their community and be part of making the difference. The second way ties really well with the first. So we have the kids from the clubs and then we go out and serve the community. We put on major events that bring the community together, that foster celebration and fun, and the children themselves are the ones who are serving their community and bringing it together. We've actually seen a number of times where outbreaks of violence have been stemmed through running one of these community events, and then there's been peace in the community afterwards because the children bring the community back together and bring a positive spirit back to the heart of their community. The third main focus of our work is training, where we invest in the children and in the young people so that they can then become leaders, they can be empowered to take more positive steps both in their own lives and in the life of their community. A couple of years ago, we walked alongside a family whose son was in our programs and he was shot and killed in the violence, and we were able to raise money to help the family with a funeral, and we had a prayer network just supporting and being with that family through that tragedy. We were also able to walk alongside one of the 16-year-old girls who fell pregnant, just to be there, making sure that she was ready for the whole process of giving birth, of becoming a mum, and to make sure that she continued her education. Where coaches have been alongside kids going through these kinds of experience, it has made a huge difference. The sad reality is there is a whole lot of other kids around this community and other communities like it that don't have people walking alongside them in that way. Over the last 3 years, Fusion Jamaica's only had one full-time worker, and we've managed to sustain contact every week with over 120 children and young people, with a team of volunteers who are all working other jobs. We want to expand this work so that we can impact more communities and more children, and we want to do it now. People often ask me, how do you fund your work? And there's 2 main answers to that question. One is a lot of prayer. Secondly, there's a Jamaican expression which is one koko, full basket, which means you take a lot of little things and you end up being able to do something significant. And we've got a community of people who are giving small amounts per month, and those are the community of people that keep this work going. I really want to celebrate those people who supported us in this way. There's a few churches that give us a small amount every month. There's a group of business people that contribute to us. There's a group of working professionals, and they each only give us 1,000 Jamaican dollars. That's less than 10 US every single month, but their faithfulness has meant that this work can continue on the ground here. I want to ask if you'd be willing to join them. You might not be in a position to make a monthly commitment, but if not, can you give your most generous gift at this time? Otherwise, you can make a monthly donation. For every £20 or 30 US dollars per month, we can bring another 3 children at least into our programs. To make a donation, all you need to do is go to www.fusionjamaica.org and click on the donate page. This is Trench Town. Life is not simple, but if the last 15 years has taught me anything, it's taught me that you can make a real difference, and your investment will. Thank you.